I wish to call our speaker who's going to give the keynote address. Before I do, I want to tell you something small about a young man, so that maybe we take this moment and appreciate that each and everything you do, each and every day counts, and there is no mistake. In fact, you have an opportunity to create a better version of you, and you are given that opportunity every day. Those that are in conflict with the law, you'll find them people checking priors, fingerprint showing us what you've done before. But others think people that we see and look up to, that there's some korokoro. Others think that everyone buys their way up there. Others think that it's easy. And I want to tell you a short story of a person that I think proves that hard work contributes and pays off. I'll tell you his priors. But maybe because we are in the presence of academics, all the young people that are here, we've chosen, we've nominated them from universities. So maybe let me speak about education first. He holds a bachelor's degree in linguistics and political sciences, number one. He has a master's degree in public administration. He has over 15 years of experience, dedication, self-service, commitment to youth development, to youth leadership, to advocacy, to administration. And yes, he too, just like criminals, his fingerprints have a record. He has priors. He used to be, now I'm talking about his priors. I'm going to tell you what he does now. I'm starting at the back so that you know all of this has contributed to this young man that before I call on the keynote speaker. He used to be the Deputy Executive Director of Sierra Leone's Road Safety Authority. Yeah, you can clap, because these are priors. These are priors that count. He used to be a director of outreach in the office of the chief minister. A clap, prior. He used to be a deputy minister. He used to be a deputy minister of communication, technology, and innovation. Yes, priors. He's young. He's cool. Anyway, now his fashion sense, yes. Ukotini, on point. He's youthful. He's passionate about Africa for Africans, by Africans. I'm going. He does not only preach youth development in his country, but he says, if there's anyone who is doing something for Africa by Africans, count me in, ladies and gentlemen, the Minister of Youth Affairs in Sierra Leone. Please help me welcome the Honorable Ibrahim Sannoh. A big round of applause. Minister. They don't know that.
Ozinli, my VP. So, for those of you who don't know, I call her my VP, and she's my VP. So Ozin went to my country, and she didn't only assimilated herself with the beauty of our country, but she associated her passion. And at some point, I was told she was very emotional when she learned about the gate of no return because of our slavery. So she's my VP, Ozinle. Thank you. So, colleagues, permit me to start on existing protocol. Let me start by saying good evening from Sierra Leone. Good evening from Sierra Leone. Although my colleague and I flew yesterday on that on that very long journey. We flew from Washington to Addis and Addis to here. But I have to be here. I have to be here because we believe in the tourism and oneness of Africa. I have to be here because Africa is for Africans, and with Africans, we can develop Africa. So, constraints or not, we have to be imbued by these facts. But permit me, please, so that we can rise for a moment of silence for my own mentor, whom I believe is a cradle for what Africanism it is today, Nelson Madiba Mandela. Let us rise to observe a minute of silence. May his soul and the souls of the faithful departed, to the mercy of God, rest in perfect peace. You may sit. Thank you. And so with voracious humility and compelling servitude, believing in the tourism and oneness of Africa, permit me to say good evening again. I want this conversation to be lively. This is not a speech, it's a conversation. So I want it to be lively. Good evening again. Good evening. Great. So let me start with a young man. Where is he? The young man you called. What's his name again? Musa. Okay, so Musa, like yourself and my very self and the chairman, I believe we all had our first travels and we were all struck with some paranoia. Chair, like you, I also was opportune to sit for the first time on a flight in 2018. Why? Because we believe in the cause of the current president and we ushered into power, and then I had no position. So the first thing he asked, what do you want to do? So I told him that I just want the opportunity to fly in the flight so that I can feel the experience. And I remember in that room, he looked back at me with some emotions and he said, okay, in our local language, when you get paranoid, I hope you have someone to hold you back. And indeed, in 2018, we flew to Ghana for a short leadership course. We all are faced with this. But what does this bring to mind? What are the lessons that we learn from this that we hope others will resonate from? What are some of the experiences that we think we garner from this that we hope generations even coming after us, we learn from? And so, Chair, permit me to honor you tonight. This speech is for you, and this speech is to honor you, because the vision that was conceived with the birth of African Union is just what you are resonating again. Permit me to honor you. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all rise and put our hands together for the chair. Chair, you can remain seated. You can remain seated. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Co-Chair. Thank you, the entire staff and back home, our organizers of, sometimes I stutter, but I don't want to agree. Organizers of the UGO Fellowship program. This is exactly what Africa needs. But this is not the first. South Africa, we cannot be really doubtful of this. My favorite program, which I don't normally follow again, don't quote me, used to be what you guys have. You know what I'm saying, which was the Big Brother for Africa. It brought Africa together then. A conglomerate of all countries. I remember Sierra Leone participated once or twice, and we had some of our cohorts traveling for the first time coming to South Africa. We don't know what happened, but we need it again, and this is what we need. We need Africanism. We need Pan-Africanism. But how can we have Pan-Africanism when we cannot be each and every brother's keeper? How do you have to look at me in the eye and tell me that I will not come to your country until I obtain a visa when I'm an African just like you are? So even the ethos and objective of which the African Union was formed is disintegrating, and as a result, the center cannot hold. Africa Union was formed to bring Africa together so that we can chart our own future. But 50, 60 years down the line, what is happening? And this is the more reason why 80 years down the line in the UN, we're still fighting to even have a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. Because they don't even see us as if we are cohesive as a continent. And yet we are the richest continent in the world, on Earth. So what you've done, you cannot know the magnitude of it, but I want to dove my hat to you tonight. Because I believe in the mantra that says, never say it's too late, for your destiny can only be delayed, but it can never be denied. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, let me briefly tell you about my beautiful country, Sierra Leone. I believe, Musa, you've been to Sierra Leone. Is it not beautiful? It is, right? Did you eat cassava leaves? Did you eat jollof? It was spicy, right? Did you see our beaches? Great. So there's not much difference. So it is not only, unlike my sister from Botswana, it's not only diamonds we have. I will not speak about the mammoth of precious minerals that we have. Rather, I will speak about the beauty of our country, the cultural heritage which we profess and resonate with many other African countries. We are a humble nation, brought back together from various tribes, from Mali, Senegal. I was greeted by my brother here just now, Abdullah Jallo. We have a lot of Jallos in our country. So Sierra Leone is a cosmopolitan country. Tribes from various neighboring countries. So that's why we call ourselves Freetown, our capital city. Because then in 1887, when we were then founded by, in 1462, initially founded by Pedro Central, and then in 1887, we were founded by William Wilberforce. So in 1800, we were colonized by the British. What happened then? Our country was seen on the coast, habitable enough to house all slaves. So we had slaves from the Maroons, from Nigeria, we had them from Nova Scotia, and it was then declared through William Wilberforce and a lawyer then, Graville Sharp, that every slave that stepped its feet in English soil was free. And those free slaves polluted the soils of England, so they were taken back to Sierra Leone. And this is how we have a cosmopolitan country. We are declared Freetown. Until today, our city is called Freetown. So it doesn't mean that you are free, but literally you will be free in Freetown. Sierra Leone is the third most peaceful country in Africa and the most peaceful country in the Manor River Union. We have over 23 minerals in our country, from gold, diamond, bauxite, rutile, titanium, iron ore, platinum, whichever they call it, all the others. But guess what? We still remain poor. To eke a meal in our country. We still struggle to have social amenities as a country. Why? Because those before us failed to plan for us. And we now that are coming, we don't need to fail to plan for those coming after us. And so therefore, as a minister of youth, together with my colleagues, we have curated our own mantra. Nothing for us without us. And I want all the UGO fellows to repeat this after me. When I say nothing for us, you say without us. Nothing for us. Nothing for us. If you believe in that spirit, you should celebrate our chair today. The visionnaire of whose vision we are all gathered here today. Now let's come to think of it as a fact. President Donald J. Trump said, America what? First. America should be what? Great again, no? America is already great. So if America is to be great again, then what are you thinking of? Maybe it's going to be like another continent from space, or another city or country from space. And then he withheld most of the funds which were coming down to Africa. We've had struggles in which the South African president was there, some other West African presidents were there. But for us, the younger generation, what lessons does that bring to mind? It is a wake-up call that Africa should be made great and greater. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to believe this. If only we can hold our together and believe in the truism of the emancipation of mental slavery for Africans, I want to ensure you tonight that the West will run to us to them. The reason being, when it comes to even feeding ourselves, we cannot now. Even when God gave us everything. We have natural land, we have the waters, we have everything. Our weather is also a very good environment that we have. But guess what? We can feed ourselves. Additionally, our mind transformation, it's really poor. And that is why we still consider ourselves being poor. But I'm not poor. And you are not poor. We are not poor because we are Africans. We are not. We are rich because we are Africans. Is there any gold in Europe? Is there any diamonds in France? Is there any oil in France? Is there any oil in Germany? Is there any oil in China? Is there any iron ore in China? Is there any coffee in China? Does China grow coffee? Does South Korea grow coffee? Does Malaysia have oil? Does Singapore have oil? But they have the best refineries. Wake up, Africa. What is happening to us? And so we, the young generations, now we call ourselves Gen Zs. It is not only for us to wake up in the morning and grab our phones to do TikTok and do postings on Instagram. We should start thinking, thought-provoking questions. How and where can I do a thing that will impact like what the chair is doing now? With all the gold and diamonds that we have, Botswana, you name it. These people are coming to our country. They are coming to steal from us, take it back to their countries. They will process it and bring it back and sell to us, and we'll buy it expensive. What is happening to us? If we are talking about joblessness or youth unemployment, it is because we as leaders are not thinking in the policy direction to ensure that we must crave policies that will begin from the bottom-top approach and not the top-bottom approach. Or policies that will say, hey, look, which country you are, whichever minerals you have, we are ensuring that 60 to 70% of all our natural resources are not going to be processed on our continent. What is that going to bring for us? It's going to create more jobs. It's going to boost our GDP to ratio. It's going to boost our economies. Inflation will come down. Exchange rates will be minimized. We're going to trade in Africa for Africa, thinking about one currency, thinking about what? One passport, thinking about one number plate and everything, enhancing the unification of Africa. Meaning I can travel, come here with no passport, no delays. I'm going to have more jobs. We'll create more jobs if only our leaders will take in the right direction. In Africa, for Africans, we have to make it greater again. So, colleagues, as I wrap up, like I said, it has to be conversational so we can conversate. Let me ask you this question. What Africa do you wish to see 10 or 15 years from now? This is a question that brings to mind that will not really require answers from you now. When you go back in your comfort zone, you have to think that it is through one man that South Africa became free. With all the apartheid, we are coming to this country because one man made a sacrifice. That even generations who are yet to be born will always relish his own good moments. It is for one man that we are gathered in this room tonight. And so, what do you want to be remembered for? What UGO Fellowship do you want yourself to be remembered for? Whether you're coming from Botswana, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Liberia, whichever it is. And as a result, what Africa do you think your children will inherit? Or you are just here, remaining as a Gen Z, with flashy cars, not thinking about home? Or are you the one who sat in a class with your colleague, and today you are where you are, and you are looking down on the person? Or are you the African who hailed from a village like yourself, and the village that had no road and no electricity, no pipe-borne water? But we have made it to this point now that we can fly and we can go to places. And when we are put in a policy position, the very first thing we think about is to go buy a house in UK or the US. Are you the African who will sit in an office and see corruption and adore it at the masses, at the suffering masses of the entire people? Are you that African that you still want us to look for aid from Donald Trump or the US or the UK when God has given us everything? It's a question I leave with you. But I believe, as I conclude, that I am that one African, that I have a dream. Just like Martin Luther said, that 7 years ago, our forefathers thought of a many nations, grown of study or whatever it was, that what all men are created equal. But I'm saying, Africa, we are all one, and together we can. And Africa for Africa. We believe that we'll have one passport. Together we can. We believe a continent that will not condone corruption. Together we can. We believe Africa that will see us as compatriots and as comrades. Together we can. And Africa, from the foundations of South Africa to the Mount Kilimanjaro of Kenya, to all the Swahili nations reigning down to West Africa, and even to North Africa of Algeria, will one day sit and dine and chart our own future, creating our own AI, believing in our own Silicon Valleys, helping to curate not just these imposed technologies they bring on us, but where agriculture will not only feed our people, will also export our food to other countries. It will also ensure that our minerals are processed and will create more jobs, will improve our lives, will have more big roads, will have Africa as the cradle of the world, the Eden of Earth. Thank you very much. God bless UGO, and God bless Africa. Amanda! Thank you.
Oh, your friend is here, by the way.